Hey everybody, Frugal Farmer here. This is a Great Dane. I owned one Great Dane and she was stolen, but this one was kind of a co-op Great Dane. I stayed in South Carolina on this lake while I was in college, and there was a porch you'd go up to before you went into it was a double wide. Well, I was working late one night, came in, weren't paying too much attention, walked up on the porch, was getting my keys out to get inside, and there was movement over in the corner. All of a sudden, this huge dog stands up. It is a Great Dane. Well, I'm trying to claw my way in the door and scared because I figured, I'm going to be this dog's next meal. And he was huge, let me tell you. Well, this Great Dane, he was friendly. So I was friendly too. And I had some scraps. I fed him and kind of surprised me. Well, I was going to let him stay on the porch. That next day he was gone. And I stopped at a store right near there to talk with a guy who kind of knew everything that was going on. And told him about the dog. And he said, well, that's Duke. Duke's previous owner had been picked up by the FBI on very short notice and evidently was in federal prison somewhere. Well, Duke was a neighborhood dog that I hadn't met yet. And I said, well, I'm feeding him. I told him, I said, I want to pick up some dog food. And he said, oh, yeah. He said, Duke will visit. If you fed him, he said, you've got a friend for life. And I said, he'll be back. And I said, well, I'll get a bowl and have him water. And, of course, there was a lake right there, so he could get all the water he wanted. But I was going to put him out water anyway, just make sure he had it and kept food out there for him. Well, I'd see Duke. He'd visit with me. Never did was really about coming inside. He'd come in and look around, but then he was gone. And but we went on like that for quite some time. And he always acted like he was hungry, but there was 6 of us feeding him. Well, one day I stopped at the store and was exchanging pleasantries with the guy, and he said, hey, he said, there's a guy who wants to talk to you. And they called him the Iceman. So I didn't know if he was an assassin or what he was. And he said, he wants to talk to you about Duke. And I said, all right. I said, when does he want to talk? He said, well, come back over here about 4 this afternoon. And we met there. So about 4 that afternoon, I met the Iceman. He was an older guy and drove an old Cadillac. Well, he evidently had met with everybody but me. Excuse me. And they talked about Duke. He fell in love with Duke. And Duke stayed at his house the majority of the time. And he knew all of us were feeding him, but he wanted to present the idea of him taking Duke full time. But he'd roam when he was down there at his lake house. And we could visit with Duke. And normally he was down there every weekend. But he'd get him veterinarian care and make sure he was fed regular. But, all of us had a say in where they would go. And I said, well, I can't afford him. I said, I'd like to see him if that's all right with you. And he said, that's more than fine. And matter of fact, he bought me a beer while we were sitting there talking about Duke. Talked with me a long time, like he had all the time in the world just to talk to me. And I was real young. I was like 19. And I appreciated the guy, doing that, being that respectful of everybody. And so Duke went to live in the high life. But on weekends, he'd visit me about every other weekend. I'd have food out there for him. And he'd eat like he was always hungry. But it's kind of funny. He'd get in the back of that Cadillac to ride. He filled the back of that Cadillac up from one side to the other. But I think old Duke had it good his final years, and I was glad of that. And but every time I see a Great Dane, I have to think about old Duke and how he hit the big time and how well the Iceman took care of him. Thanks for stopping by. Come back again when you will. Share, comment, like, hit that subscribe button. God bless.